Nisha. I connect the dots with insulin resistance and the things you're likely suffering from that could be helped by just addressing your insulin resistance. So, this week I've been talking about weight loss. It also leads into metabolic syndrome. Insulin resistance is the keystone for metabolic syndrome. So, if you can understand that all of this, that insulin resistance is the keystone, that if you just take care of this one thing, whoop, you could start to get better from everything that you're suffering with. So this looks like migraines, body aches, fatigue, that weight gain that you can't get rid of. I just did a video last night on 3 ways that you can tell if your weight gain is related to insulin resistance. In my opinion, almost all weight gain is related to insulin resistance. But look, if you're having those cravings, the hunger for sugars and salt, and you just can't seem to feel full, thank you for the loves. That's a sign that you're resistant to insulin. The insulin messes with those cues in your body. Your cells are not getting enough energy, and you're hungry all the time because your cells are saying, we need energy, yet there's enough energy in your system, they're just not able to take it up. So now what happens is when the cells aren't taking it up because they're resistant to the insulin, you're putting on fat and putting on fat, and you can't seem to burn it because you're always hungry. And when you eat, every time you eat, you're spiking your insulin. So we need to understand that this whole eating every 2 hours, you know, let's be real. I did it. I listened to that in my 20s when, I was trying to manage my weight, and I had people telling me, oh, eat every 2 hours, do this, do that. That's going to manage your metabolism and manage your weight. I bought into it. Just like I see so many people on here buying into it because that's what the nutritionists or gym bros say, but there's no science behind that. In fact, what happened was that was when I started putting on weight and I didn't recognize what was going on. I just kept fighting that battle of like trying to eat every 2 hours to get my metabolism revving because it wasn't working. Good morning, Janice. I sanded a little bit this morning because my ADD, and now there's dust in the air. Go figure, go figure. Anyway, so when you're eating every 2 hours, all you're doing is bumping up your insulin consistently. And remember, if you have insulin in your system, it's blocking fat breakdown, it's encouraging fat storage, and it's stopping fat burning. So as long as you're eating, you're doing all of those things. You are not burning fat when you are having insulin present in your body. And then we're so needing, good morning, is it Sean? Good morning. So when you're doing all of those things, you're making the problem worse. Well, I give you 6 simple tips. We're going to go over that this morning. Again, we're going to go over a number of things. I want to answer questions because it's Friday. Everybody's going to, thank you. Everybody's going to have a great weekend. I want you to head into the weekend with all the answers you need because I don't go live on the weekends. Okay. So, thank you, Janice. All right. So key 1 was if you're hungry all the time, right? Key 2 is if your face is starting to get round and bloated, puffy, a little bit like this, like that face up there, that's insulin resistance as well. That was not just weight. There was visceral fat. I had a condition called fat tongue. That can happen when you have insulin resistance. And it does contribute to sleep apnea as well. So if that face is just round and puffy like that, oof, you guys understand that that's most likely insulin resistance causing it. And if you get the insulin under control, not only is the fat going to go away, you're going to get rid of a lot of inflammation that's carrying around in your body as well. So just know that. Then the last thing is the belly. See my belly, how distended it was, how pooched out it was. Yes, I had excess fat on me, but I also had this belly that made me look like I was 9 months pregnant at 55 years old. That's a sign of insulin resistance. And here's why. When you are insulin resistant, there's cues from the brain that are telling your body to store fat in specific areas. So areas like your face, but areas like your belly. So underneath the muscle wall of your belly, it's going to start to store fat, and then that's going to force the belly to pooch out because there's less space. When the fat's being stored on the outside, it just kind of spreads everywhere. but under the belly, it's forcing that muscle wall to distend, and now you have this belly that pokes out, right? So man, woman, young, old, thin, fat, you are having this distended belly. That's probably insulin resistance. Now, there's a few other things that could be happening, but look, when we talk about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, do you guys all understand that if somebody has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, they're likely insulin resistant as well? If the liver is getting damaged, then the insulin is off in the first place. Good morning, Karen. So understand those things. Those are three keys that your weight is related to insulin resistance. Now, what do we do about it, right? What do we do? Well, first we've got to understand what insulin resistance is and where it comes from so you can understand why we're going to do what we do. What we do is we're going to address the fact that we're eating the wrong things, or maybe not even, I shouldn't say the wrong things, but that the food that we're eating is turning into glucose too quickly in our system. Let's break that back a little further. It's turning into energy in our system too quickly. Good morning, Daryl. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So if the food is turning into energy too quickly, and that's causing a spike of the glucose, which causes the spike of insulin. So let's go back one more step, right? So you're eating food, it turns into energy, which is called glucose in your bloodstream. We're just going to simplify. This isn't going to be perfect because we're just going to simplify as much as I can. But when that blood sugar or glucose spikes, you can only have about 1 teaspoon in your bloodstream before your body starts to panic and say, we got to do something with this. So now it cues the pancreas to produce the hormone insulin. Now, once it produces insulin, what insulin's job is to carry that sugar or that glucose to all the cells of the body. Insulin is a great, great hormone when it's in balance, when we're not eating all the time. Yeah, so the insulin is carrying the energy out to the cells, and they're getting the energy they need, your muscle cells, all of the cells of the body. So think of your bones, think of your ligaments, think of everything in your body. Every cell needs energy. There's like 32 billion trillion activities going on in our body in any given second of our day. So that's a lot of energy that our body needs. So the insulin is taking that energy to those cells. But when we're eating all the time, just like anything else, when it gets overloaded, we're eating all the time, it's converting to sugar all the time, and then it's getting insulin in our system. And the higher that insulin level rises, the longer it takes for it to come down. Now, though, we have insulin in our system almost constantly, and the cells are like, I can't take it anymore. It's like that nosy neighbor knocking on your door. I don't want to hear from you anymore. I don't want to open the door. You're annoying me. I've got other things to do. That's our cells. Our cells are saying, no, no, insulin, I don't want you anymore. You've annoyed me so much. Even when the cells need the energy, they're saying no. So now you're hungry all the time because you need energy. There's energy in your system. Your blood sugar's going up, but your cells won't take it in. So why? That's because insulin is present all the time. We've got to get the insulin down. So Shelly says that she's been healing her liver ever since being diagnosed insulin resistant. You guys understand that is a perfect example. Your liver, it's not just that your blood sugars go up. I had a very simplistic view of diabetes, and I was like, oh, what's the big deal when I was younger, right? But now that I'm older, I understand that, things like your liver, your pancreas, pancreatitis is linked. Losing your gallbladder is linked. Losing your joints. I've had 3 joint replacements. That's linked to insulin resistance. Losing your eyesight, having bleeding teeth and gums, losing your hair, losing your memory, all of that, losing sleep, all of that is related to insulin resistance. So, Lady Vasanti, it's interesting because I talk about this a lot, but I actually heard a doctor talking about it yesterday, and she said this. She said in all of the classes that she went through, all of the things that she studied, they never taught them about this problem of insulin resistance. They touched on insulin a little bit because of diabetes type 1, but they never dove into the fact that this is what's going on with diabetes type 2, and that the real cure is to get the insulin down. That was never taught to her. It was never anything they addressed. And then when she did get into practice, she said what happened is, and she started learning what insulin resistance was, she realized that what's going on is doctors are overloaded. It takes a lot of education. I'm on here every day for at least an hour talking about different things. And in that hour, I'm only talking about a very small amount. That's why every week I go over something different, right? But they do not have the time to educate you. And unfortunately, most nutritionists are not educating you properly. And so they can't just send you to a nutritionist because that's not going to help your system. So in their frustration, what they do is they just throw pills at you. So I'm not saying doctors are bad. They're overloaded. They're human. They're just like us. But no, that most doctors don't ever say anything. So I worked in doctors' offices. I worked in an allergy clinic. I worked in an urgent care. I worked in a hormone clinic. I worked in a general practice. And although I had great doctors, none of them addressed the insulin resistance, not even the one who dealt with hormones. We did saliva tests, we did 24-hour urine tests, we did blood tests, we did all the tests. And we looked at my hormones and they were all out of whack. Of course, they were all out of whack. My insulin was off, but they never tested my insulin and never addressed my insulin. When my metabolic panel came back and she looked at it, she called me into the office and said, "You have the worst metabolic type that I could have had come through my clinic, and there's nothing I can do for you. You're always going to be fat. You're always going to be tired. You're always going to be in pain. And I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do." That was my doctor. So when people come at me like, how am I qualified to talk about this? Because I lived it. I lived it and I've overcome it, and that's how I'm qualified. And I worked with all the doctors. In fact, I educated my doctors on a number of things with my health because they were getting it wrong. So you've been asking your doctor, and you're on dialysis, lady. One thing I want you to understand is we cannot fix that fact now. We can help you from furthering damaging your body by addressing your insulin resistance. So hang out and we're going to talk about that. If you do know anyone else who has kidney issues, I have several people. One of them that, is you always have your go-to story, right? This guy had stage 3 kidney disease. He was getting prepped to do the surgery pre-dialysis, and he started the system. Within 3 months, his kidneys had healed enough that he'd never had to go on dialysis, and today his kidneys have normal function. He's been on the system for almost 2 years. So I'm sorry. Once you get to dialysis, we know that there's just that's your life now. But if you know anybody that you want to save from going through what you're going through, please send them my way. We can look at it's natural foods that I'm going to be talking about. You have a 90-day money back guarantee. If it can save them from a lifetime of going in 2 to 3 times a week for that, I think that would be worth it. I don't know. What do you think? Okay. So Angie says, once you've attained healthy levels and weight loss, do you need to take the protocol for the rest of your life? That's an amazing question, actually. So let's go over it. If we're eating food that's converting into sugar too quickly, and I haven't gone over this yet this morning, so we'll go over it now. But what's happening to us is not just that we're eating every 2 hours. That's the food industry telling us to do that. By the way, guess who writes the books that the nutritionists study? The food industry. Okay. So the food industry is telling us to eat every 2 hours. Why? Because they sell more food. Do you really need to eat every 2 hours? Our bodies weren't built for that. Our bodies weren't built for that. Our bodies were built to eat, have a rest, maybe go through a little what we call intermittent fasting. That was just normal life back in the day. We don't need to eat so much. That's key one. But then when we add to it that the food that we do get, even when you're looking at raw organic food, is drastically changed from what it should be. And the reason is the number one key, the superhero I talk about all the time, is fiber. That has been stripped from our foods. So unless you find a way to have raw organic foods in your life every day that have enough of the fibers and the nutrients in it, that have not been modified, that are heirloom products, that not just the stuff you buy in the grocery store, then yes, you've got to put back what's been stripped out. So the short answer is yes. The other answer was the long answer. What the protocol that I'm doing does is put back what's been stripped out of our food so that our bodies can deal with our food more naturally. Over the past year, I've heard more and more doctors talking about a couple of things. Fiber is a key nutrient that no one is talking about that we all need. Just adding the amount of fiber that's in this can increase daily, can increase your longevity by 10 to 15 years, according to some doctors I've been listening to. They are now understanding how important this is. Hey, Donalyn. So I will be doing this, Angie. I will be doing this the rest of my life regardless, just because I know that if I don't, then I'm likely to go back to, unless I am able to grow my own foods and, control my life better. We're all in stressful lives. Let's get it. We're all running crazy. That I need these fibers, and I don't want to have to, I think about enough in the day. I don't want to have to think about where I'm going to get all the right fibers and how I'm going to get them in before I eat, when I'm traveling, and all that. I know that my body needs it. I know that it's healed my body and that it's keeping me protected from going back to where I was. So yes, I'm going to be doing it the rest of my life. I've had people who've done it and then they stopped, and then a few months later, they're like, ooh, I'm starting to feel icky again. It's our food, you guys. It's our food. So they come back and they say, hey, Misha, can I get back on the system? I want to feel better again. And of course you can. Because we all have free will. So, if you want to do it till you get where you're at and you want to stop, just know you're probably going to come back at some point, because the food that we're given is causing the problem that we're having. And one thing is that, I talk about medications not solving the problem. And so some people will be like, well, what's the difference between this and a medication if I need to do it the rest of my life? Well, here's the difference. Okay. The medication is masking symptoms. The system is addressing root cause. Okay. Medications are only aimed at getting your A1C down at any cost. You guys, sorry, I shouldn't have sanded without a mask or without a filter, because now my allergies are kicking up. I know better. Anyway, so if I sound all nasally, that's what it is. With medications, they can tear down your health. Statins are being proven to worsen blood pressure and cholesterol problems. The diabetes medications, they're constantly having to up the dose, or they're giving you more and more insulin, and then you just end up getting sicker quicker, according to Dr. Bickman and Dr. Fung, and then you end up with all kinds of other problems from the medications. With the protocol, what we're doing is putting in real food and real food substances that we need in order to deal with the problems of our food diet today, and it's adding to your health. It's building health. It's giving you your health back. It's not tearing your health down in any way. It's feeding the microbiome in your gut. So it's giving you prebiotics to feed your probiotics. It's giving you the fibers you need to digest, and some that help clean out. But it's also giving you phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals. The tea that I drink in the morning, this is a two-step system. A tea in the morning, and a pre-meal drink that I have twice a day before I eat. And that's it. The tea gives me mental clarity and energy. The Argentinians who raised this tea call it the food of the gods, because they can live on it. It's so nutrient dense. So where can you order it? Over here on Facebook. You're on Facebook. I'm going to put a link in here, and you're just going to go here to order it. And then I'm going to show everybody else where as well. So we're going to go to my TikTok page, right? For everybody on TikTok, if I can get myself in control. I'm getting ready to move, you guys, and I have a bunch of things going on, and my ADD has been wild because I have boxes all over the house. I have things I want to get done. It's just insane. Stay on the insulin until the system brings down the sugars. If you are type 2 diabetic, let's have that conversation as soon as I show everybody where to get this. I want you to start thinking about, if you have too much insulin in your system and that's the problem, then why are we putting more insulin in your system? Think about that for a second while I go over this next part. And this isn't your fault. This is what the doctors are telling you, right? I know this. And Dr. who wrote this book, Why We Get Sick, educates doctor on the fallacy of giving type 2 diabetics insulin. And we're going to talk about it in a second. But where to get the system, if you go to my tap on my profile link up here. A box will come up, tap on that, and then you're going to get to my profile page. And at the top of my profile page, there's these two red lights. Click on the link right below those. Okay. And it's going to take you to my landing page. The link I put in Facebook gets you to the same landing page, guys. So you're just going to click on this top link. That's going to get you to the order page. When you get here, you need to make sure it has my name on top. That's what's going to link you to me so that I can coach you, I can help you. I'm here 24/7. You guys, if you're overseas and I wake up and I have messages from you, I'm going to start answering. I've talked to people in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, the UAE, and it's okay. I have a WhatsApp. We can have conversation, either text or call, whatever. But this is where you're going to get it. So the system is 30 of the tea, 60 of the pre-meal drink. Just leave it how it is, except for I would change this to lemon. We must be running low on lemon. If you don't want to take the chance of having to wait, leave it on lemon ginger. Lemon ginger, though, if you're not a ginger fan, it has a pretty strong hit of ginger. Then you're going to leave it on the monthly subscription. It saves you $5 off. You can cancel it at any time, and you get free delivery, so it ends up saving you about $15. Now, I want to go back to, and you guys, I do want to say this too. Please do yourself a favor and don't do the Amazon eBay thing. I know, I get it. I do that sometimes too. And what happens with this is there's nobody on Amazon and eBay that's offered to sell this product. So you get a 90-day money-back guarantee, you get a quality guarantee, and you get a low price guarantee when you purchase through my link. You get none of that when you purchase on Amazon and eBay. Nobody that I have talked to that purchased on Amazon because they thought it was going to be quicker, they've paid about $100 more for it than they needed to. So please just use somebody reputable. Use my link. We'll get you there. Now, back to the insulin question. So, right. So if insulin is the problem, and we have too much, why would they ever think that giving you more insulin is the solution? If you have so much insulin that your pancreas is at danger because it's producing so much, and the cells are saying like, no, I don't want to hear from you, insulin, how is that going to help? The insulin can actually cause you to gain excess pounds, but it's actually just trying to force the sugar into the cells. Sugars are the problem, Sean. Sugars are what's causing the insulin to go up. But if you're already diabetic, why are they not talking to you about that? Why are they not talking to you about the fact that fiber has been stripped from our foods? That's what's causing the sugars to go up. That's what's causing the insulin to go up. Why are they saying, take this shot? Do this insulin. You need more insulin to get those sugars down. No, what you need is fiber to get those sugars down. It's just so bass-ackwards to me. You're so welcome. Okay, so now, if you're doing insulin, what Dr. Bickman says is this, and this may be harsh to some people. This is Dr. Bickman's words, not mine. Yeah, I'll show you some things that you can do to tell if you're insulin resistant, Sean. Give me a second. So if Dr. Bickman says to doctors, he educates them on the fallacy of giving their diabetic patients, diabetes type 2 patients, insulin, and then he tells them this. When you give your patients insulin, you're making them fatter quicker, you're making them sicker quicker, and you're killing them quicker. And he's literally had doctors come up to him in tears after he's gone over all the whys. Only he can do that. I cannot. I am not a metabolic scientist, but he explains it in depth to doctors and tells them that very thing. Many doctors have stopped giving diabetes type 2 patients insulin because of what he tells them. So if your doctor's not doing an insulin test for you and you want to know, is this you? Let me find these slides, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do to tell if this is you. So we're going to take a look at these things. Sean, also, it's just my life today. You guys, I can only laugh at myself. Like everybody else can laugh at me too. I don't care. So 5 things to tell if you're insulin resistant. Yes, it is for the layman, Sean. It's written in very easy terms. If you go to my, let's go back there for a second. If you go, ooh, what did I do? If you go to my link tree, like I just showed you, same place where you can order this, at the very bottom, or right, that's on my website. At the very bottom is this my recommendations page. Very, very bottom. You click on that. I haven't talked about it in a while. I have no gallbladder, so all the stuff that I use, the health trackers, the ketone tester, all of that stuff is here, but is also Dr. Bickman's book. Dr. Fung's book, I would read both of those books as well. Okay. And then this one is really interesting, Why Calories Don't Count. How we got that wrong. I've been talking about that a little bit this week. And then there's both the Diabetes Code Cookbook and the Obesity Code Cookbook. They're very similar. Pick one. If you want recipe ideas, pick one, use it. But that's where you can get the book. I don't sell them. That's just my page where to help people out. Okay. I'm also, I know I said I was going to do this about a week ago, so I'm going to work on it this weekend, getting some of this gentle exercises listed there for people who are just needing some direction. All right, so how can you tell if it's insulin resistance? How can you tell if this is you? The top 5 ways are these. If you have hypertension, if your blood pressure is 130 over 80 or higher, it's likely you. 95% of high blood pressure comes from insulin resistance. Yep, the sugar. Yep. Louise, you're absolutely correct. So, skin tags, the little mushroom-like projections of skin on your neck, under your arms, in your groin, all of those areas, that's insulin resistance as well. If you have those dark skin patches on your elbows, your knees, look, I used to have this big dark ring around my elbow, and it started running down my elbow about this far, and it was rough and scaly. It would catch on my clothes. I was scrubbing using shea butter, coconut butter. I had special, like all natural butters made to help it. I was scrubbing it all the time, and it wouldn't go away. It wasn't because I was dirty. It was because my cells were dirty. There are some cells with insulin resistance that will take up the excess insulin. The skin tags and the melanin are a couple of those. The skin cells called keratinocytes. So skin tags, acanthosis nigricans, or those dark skin patches, that's insulin resistance. If you see it on you, you see it on somebody else, know that they're struggling with insulin levels and high sugar levels, and they need to get it taken care of before liver problems, kidney problems, heart problems, all of that starts to happen, thyroid problems. Okay. Then a PCOS and erectile dysfunction. Those are very much related to insulin resistance. If you're experiencing either one of those, it's insulin resistance. Those are the top 5 ways. We're going to go over a couple of more ways. So if you've had labs done, and it sounds like you've been seeing your doctor, so you should have had an annual test done, a complete metabolic panel done. And in that metabolic panel, there are your lipids, so your fats. Go find those labs or get them from your doctor if you don't have them. Take a look. So one thing I want to do is, first, you want to look at your triglycerides. And why is this messing up on me? Okay, I want you to look at your triglycerides. I'm going to minimize me for a second so that this can show up better. There we go. So triglycerides and HDL. Your triglycerides are high, your HDL is probably low. I know it's the LDL that we're trying to figure out, but since they don't give a test for what we're looking for with the LDL, the way you can tell what's happening is by doing this test. Take your triglyceride number, divide it by your HDL number. I've done videos on it. I will do another video today and drop it in. So look at my stream today and you'll see this video. Triglycerides divided by HDL. The number should be 1.5. Yep, high cholesterol, you're likely insulin resistant. Okay, those liver enzymes are good for now, but the longer you stay with high cholesterol, the longer it's going to be, those liver enzymes are going to start to pop up. And by the time you see the liver enzymes pop up, you're probably having problems with your gallbladder. I got off track. Triglyceride, the number should be 1.5 or less. Okay, if it's 1.5 or less, you're at a lower risk for heart disease, you're at a lower risk for insulin resistance. Between 1.5 and 3, you're probably starting to build some insulin resistance and have other problems in your body. Start paying attention to it. 3 and above, you're insulin resistant, you're on your way to diabetes, take care of it. Okay. So I've had people with like numbers of 4, numbers of 5, crazy numbers. Take care of it. And I'm going to go over how to take care of it in just a minute. So there's that. But also that bulging belly, I talked about that a little bit earlier. If you have that bulging belly like that top picture, you're likely insulin resistant. If you're having swelling hands and feet and edema, it's likely insulin resistant. So if you're having those constant hunger cravings, and especially for sugars and salty foods, you're likely insulin resistant. If you have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia, two different things, but if you have either one of those, it's likely that you're insulin resistant. Body aches and pains, all of that. Any one of those can mean that you're insulin resistant. If you have 1 or 2 or more, you're most likely insulin resistant. Deal with it. Okay, start to deal with it. If we understand that what's causing this is the fact that our food is imperfect and that we need to address that, then we can start to get to it much quicker. So, why is our food imperfect? Because this thing that I'm going to talk about today all day, all day, all day. Fiber, 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 fiber has been stripped from our food. You guys, I have people be like, oh, this fiber will do it. No, it doesn't. That's like 2 types of fiber at the most. And a lot of times they're adding sugar to it, which is what we're trying to control. Why would you do that to your body? This has 7 different types of fiber, not just any fibers, targeted fibers to do what we're talking about. Reduce your blood glucose, manage those fats in your system, and get that blood sugar spike down and get the insulin spike down. That's what's, I can go over that in more detail in just a second, but that's what we want to look at is our food. Medications are not going to fix this problem. Does anybody want to talk about GLP-1 agonists? Things like Mounjaro, Ozempic, Trulicity, all of those things. Anybody up for hearing about that? Just put a 1 in the chat if you are. Otherwise, I'm going to go on, but I want to explain why I don't like those, but only if that's what you want to hear. I do want to show you guys this because this is really interesting to me. So this is what, when I say our food is the problem, this is what our food used to look like. Okay, if you look at the top row, those coordinate with the foods on the bottom. Did you know that our carrots actually used to be a root? And that our corn actually used to look more like a grain? We've stripped out fibers and nutrients to make them what we have today. We've genetically modified them to be what they are today, and that genetically modified food is turning into sugar quicker than it was ever meant to be, and our body's like, what is this? I don't know what to do with it, and we get sick. All right, so I have a number of people who want to hear about GLP-1s. And also, whoever asked about Dr. Bickman's book, he talks about those in here a little bit. I had the pleasure of meeting him in person last spring, and he was asked the question specifically, what do you tell people who are on those medications? And his answer was very simple. I tell them to get off of them as quickly as they can. Okay. GLP-1 agonists, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Trulicity, all of those things. They're doing a couple of things. They're forcing your body to produce more insulin. Again, insulin is already the problem. Your pancreas is already working too hard. Now you're going to tell your pancreas to produce more insulin so that you can try and overcome, hey, Jamie, this problem that our body's already having. Is there any wonder why pancreatitis is one of the problems, one of the side effects of those drugs? You're forcing an overworked organ to do more work. Jamie, I love you so much. I miss you. We haven't got to talk for a while. Jamie's on the system. Will you, if you have a moment, Jamie, will you type your story into the chat here? I'm on like 4 different platforms, or I'd invite you to go live, but not everybody will be able to see you. So when I figure that out, I would love to have you live with me one day. All right, so that's just one thing. They're called a GLP-1 agonist because they're forcing this glucagon-like peptide, which is forcing you to increase more insulin in your body, and that again is going to cause a load on organs that don't need that. Why would we not just address the sugars that are coming in? And the fact that they don't need to spike your blood sugar as high, why are we trying to give more of what we're already resistant to? Okay. Gout and fatigue are 2 symptoms of insulin resistance, Jan. Jan says she's on so many meds and she suffers from gout and fatigue. I've said I was going to do it the other day, but I've been busy. I will put up a video today. Rav did the video, but it's a pharmacist talking about how none of these medications have cured someone from these diseases that I'm talking about. Oh, Jan, we need to talk. I'll try and do some more information. She says nothing's been right since her gallbladder's come out. Let me finish this about the medications and let's talk about gallbladder because mine came out too because I didn't catch it in time. Nobody told me about insulin resistance. Losing your gallbladder is linked to insulin resistance. My tea. You guys, this gives me energy. Plus, it tastes freaking amazing. Jamie says the system reversed his diabetes, his obesity, his IBS, and he no longer has to struggle. And by the way, Jamie always had an amazing personality, so nothing had to be fixed there. I tell you guys, I love this man. He's just amazing. So you have stones now. We're going to talk about that, you guys, I promise. So the GLP-1 agonist, I want to finish up with this. Your body is being forced to do things that it doesn't want to do. But the other thing is that some of us, let's ask this question. How many of you guys have been told by your doctor that you're born with a certain amount of fat cells? You never produce more fat cells. You only fill up or deplete those fat cells. That you're never making more fat cells. How many of you guys have been told that? Because I was in a doctor's office this summer and heard that myself. Just put a 1 in if you've been told that you never get more fat cells. They're just getting bigger or shrinking, but you never make more fat cells. Has anybody ever heard that? What you're born with as a baby is what you got the rest of your life? Well, for some of us, that's true. Okay. But for about half the population, that's absolutely not true. So some people can actually replicate their fat cells. So most of us are in this state where we're hypertrophic. Our fat cells are growing or depleting. Okay. Growing and depleting, constantly growing and depleting. I was likely a little bit hyperplastic because I started gaining more fat cells. Now we got to deal with that. But then there's this hyperplastic side where your fat cells are replicating like little bunny rabbits. Guess what? Those drugs, they spurn that in your body. So now you're creating more fat cells. They're the drugs are making you nauseous a little bit, so you're not wanting to eat. But it's also giving you this propensity to have gastroparesis, where your gut starts to freeze up and it can no longer pass food through. Why would we do those things to our body over sugar that we could actually just put some fiber in and deal with and not have all this other stuff going on in our body? Okay. So, oh, Aisha, she says, so I don't like those medications, you guys. If that's what Dr. Bickman says is what I'm going to say. I love the man. He's one of the top metabolic scientists in the world. If he says those drugs are bad for you, I don't care what doctors out there saying they're great. I want to tell you that if you're really concerned about your long-term health and not just your short-term weight loss, get off of them, stay off of them, never allow a doctor to give you those drugs. Okay. So there's a reason Big Pharma runs the world. There's a reason they're so prevalent. There's a reason a diabetes drug is now approved for weight loss. It's not long-term weight loss. You will gain the weight back. I've had people call me saying they've had thyroid problems, saying they've had the gastroparesis, saying their kidneys are at risk now because of those drugs. And that now that they're off of them, they're starting to gain the weight back. Now they have more fat cells to store that fat in. Okay. Aisha has been told that her metabolism is so slow she needs to work out more, eat less. I'm going to address that. Those meds didn't work for you at all. Exactly. All carnivore and a detox didn't work for me. Okay. Kristen, let's talk about that. Non-specific pain and heavy, slow limbs. Those are symptoms of insulin resistance. So much to talk about. I'm going to come back to the gallbladder, Jan, I promise, but I want to talk about a couple of things. You guys, really quickly, when people are telling you to work out more, eat less, understand that your body has a set rate, a metabolic set rate. So there's this problem of having too much insulin and too much energy in our body, right? Our cells are resistant to the insulin. So what we need to do is eat for insulin and not eat to restrict calories. Yes, if you're eating 5,000 or 6,000 calories a day and you don't get up and work out 3 or 4 hours a day, you're probably overeating. We can all agree with that. But Stop the focus on calories. Stop it. We're going to talk about what you want to do to get your health back, at least to get your health back. If you just want quick weight loss, do what those other people say. Come back to me when you're struggling, okay? But if you want your health, when you restrict your calories, you're down regulating your metabolism, because say you're at 2,000 calories a day and your body's running fine on that and it says, okay, this is what I need. Now you're like, okay, I want to lose some weight. I'm going to ignore the fact that it's about the sugars, not about the calories. Dr. Yao, Dr. Lee, Dr. Fung, Dr. Bickman all talk about this. So now I'm going to reduce my calories. Now the body gets used to this lowered calories at 1,500 instead of 2,000. So guess what the body does? The body says she's only going to give me 1,500 calories a day. So I need to slow down. I need to break down this energy expenditure and I need to slow down. So now you're more tired. Now you don't have the energy you felt like you had. Now your muscles hurt when you try to do too much because you've down-regulated your metabolism. It only takes 4 to 6 weeks to down-rate your metabolism, but it can take 6 years if you can re-regulate it at all. So down-regulating your metabolism to get that weight loss, now your set point's at 1,500. Now you're stuck there because it could take 6 years to get back up to just 2,000. If you can do that at all, if your body will bounce back, okay? So this heavy calorie restriction is not the way to go. I've done it. You guys, I've done it all too. There's no finger pointing. I've done it all too. That's why I'm here talking about it. So workout more, I'm going to agree with. But now what does workout look like? Workout looks like I sit on my butt in front of this computer all day, making calls, talking to people, making videos, doing all of that. I need to get up and walk. One of the best ways you can move more, work out more, is to walk 30 minutes a day. So that could look like get up in the morning, take a 10-minute walk. Have your lunch, take a 10-minute walk. Eat your dinner, take a 10-minute walk. 30 minutes of walking in, you're done for the day. If you can add more in, great. I'm going to put some videos in my recommendations page, I promise, this weekend, that will help you. Just simple things you can do at home that take minutes that are going to help up-regulate your metabolism and get you more insulin sensitive. 25 to 30% of your body is muscle, and the more that muscle is moving, the more likely you are to be insulin sensitive, okay? So there's that. The carnivore diet and a detox didn't work for me. So you guys, one of the things I love about call, which is just, I'm going to go over it real quick again. I have the different, these are the new packets, by the way. A tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat my first 2 biggest meals of the day. That's it. These 3 packets are my day. Now, if you want to be carnivore and do this, you can do that. If you want to be vegetarian and do this, you can do that. If you want to be middle line and eat what you, hey Paramjeet, it's so good to see you. If you want to eat the food that you love the way that you love, whether it be Mediterranean, whether it be Indian, whether it be Mexican, whether it be Italian, whatever, or American foods, whatever you want to eat, just add this to your day and you can get there. Now, if you're extremely insulin sensitive, we may have to work on the carbohydrates you eat for a while, a number of other things. I play a lot with fasting. I don't expect anyone to do that. What I would like everyone to do is to understand and really embrace the principle of 16-8, fasting for 16 hours, eating during an 8-hour window. But guess what? During that 8-hour window, I don't want you to get out the scale and put every bit of food on a scale and say, oh, that little tiny bit right there, protein, that's all I can have for the day. This is my protein for day, and this is my vegetable for the day. We're not doing that. We are not going to do that. Okay. This is what you're going to do. You're going to get fiber in before you eat because it's going to help you from the sugar spikes and the insulin spikes. And then you're going to do these things. You're going to prioritize protein. You guys know that to heal up and to lose weight, you need protein. If you're not getting in enough protein, your body's not going to allow you to lose weight. When you're insulin resistant, you probably have less muscle mass because the muscles are not taking up the insulin. And when you go on those restrictive calorie diets and you're working out way more and you're eating way less, you're losing a lot of muscle to get that weight loss, but less fat. Okay. So how about we focus on losing the fat and maintaining the muscle? And this is how you're going to do it. The fiber first protects you, prophylactic from the sugars. Prophylactic from the sugars. Sorry for being graphic. You're putting a condom on your sugars. Okay, then you're gonna have protein, and then you're gonna have fats. This is exactly how your plate should look. Fiber, about a fist size of protein, okay? Add some healthy fats, butter, ghee, avocado, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil. All of those are great. Stop cutting the fats off your meats. That's what you want to do. Protein and fats must always go together. If you're eating nothing but lean meat and you're trying to cut the fat out, you're going to have problems because your body's not metabolizing the protein and your body can't store the protein as it's supposed to, okay? Then when you're done with that, then you're going to limit your carbs. And what I want you to do is, you don't have to step away from breads and all of that if you don't want to. But what I'm going to encourage you to do is focus on the vegetables that grow above ground. So try and stay away from the root vegetables. Again, if you want to have them once in a while, great. But you know what? If you're having a meal with lots of vegetables or you're adding bread in it, have 2 packets of this before you eat. It's going to help slow down that sugar spike even more. Dust in the air because I because I have ADD and I just get excited about things. Okay. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Fiber, proteins, fat. Those are the things you should always focus on in your meal, and then have the vegetables, fruits later, because those are carbs. And fruits are carbs. It's not just breads and rice and cake. Vegetables and fruits are carbs. Okay. Then you want to do some time-based eating. So give your body a break from producing insulin all the time. Let it calm down. Let your cells say, "Oh, insulin's not knocking on my door. I can open up my windows. I can pull back the curtains. I can do a regular thing, and I can be sensitive to the insulin when it does come around again." Okay. Um, and then move your body, because when you have that excess insulin in the system, the one place that's going to take it up that's healthy for you is muscles that are active. And I'm not talking about eat before you exercise. I'm talking about you can do like workouts fasted. Now your muscles are wide open and ready for some nutrition to come in. Then when you eat, it's all going in there. But definitely when you do eat, like you're having lunch at work, just take a walk for 10 minutes before you go back to your desk. You're going to get to sit on your butt for another 4 hours. You don't need to sit on your butt all the way through lunch. Okay. Just a hard fact, get up and move. All right. Fruits. Can we talk about fruits? We're going to talk about gallbladder. One thing first, the fruits you guys should be focusing on because they're higher in fiber and lower in the glycemic scale. Anybody who talks about insulin is going to tell you about berries, right? Berries, 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 and berries are amazing. That's the fruit you should focus on. You should treat it as a treat. But the one fruit that I really love even more than berries, because it's a lower in the glycemic scale, high in fiber, lower in carbohydrates, but it also has an added bonus of an amazing chemical that's really good for your brain. That chemical is chlorogenic acids, which happens to be in our tea, but that fruit is pears. I've created some recipes. They're going to be coming out in the next few weeks. But one of them is a shake that I'll do in the morning sometimes. And it's really high in protein and high in fats. But once in a while, I'll throw a pear in there. It's like a cinnamon spice pear, high protein shake in the morning when I feel like I need that extra. But pears are amazing. So if you're going to have a fruit, have pears and then have berries. I'm working on some videos on what are the best foods to eat when you're addressing your insulin as well. Ooh, Salika, what I can tell you is, I cannot tell you what you should or should not do. I can tell you what I would do. I would never take it. Ozempic, remember, Ozempic is forcing your body to create more insulin when it's already telling the pancreas to produce a lot of insulin. The body's already resistant to insulin, and now you're forcing your pancreas to produce even more. And then we wonder why that happens. Also, Ozempic, have you not seen all the lawsuits out there now because people are losing their gallbladders after being on Ozempic? People are having gastroparesis, or a condition where their gut freezes up after taking Ozempic. My answer for me would be I would never touch it. Never in a million years. So if instead of doing Ozempic, which most people are telling me it's costing them a couple $100s a month at minimum, Why wouldn't you just do this? A tea in the morning and a pre-meal drink, one before your first meal, one before your second meal. It works better than that. And this builds your health instead of tearing it down. This has been scientifically proven to reduce your A1C, your blood glucose, and your lipids. So why not do something that's based on food? We have some of the only food products in the PDR. You guys, again, if you're interested in this, go to my profile up there or go here. And we're going to take a look at that one more time, guys. All right, so if we are ready, got to get my life together here. Nope, that's not the one I want. All right, we're going to do this one. So you're going to, on TikTok, you're going to click on my picture. I just did a bad thing. Okay. Well, we're going to have a really funky thing happen now. So we're just going to go here. Okay, so if you click on my picture, it's going to bring up a box at the bottom. Click on that, and then it's going to take you here. So right here, where my profile is, it should say Misha Fayon at the top. You're going to click right below these red lights, this link. That's going to take you to my Linktree page. The top one is where you're going to order. Please make sure that you're not going to Amazon, Walmart, eBay, because you're not getting any of the guarantees. If you guys want the 90-day money-back guarantee on this, you've got to order through somebody reputable. I am somebody reputable. I'm linked to the company. I am one of their authorized distributors. Please purchase through here. You're going to end up paying more, and you won't get any of the guarantees if you don't. All right. So you want to make sure it says Misha Fayon at the top of this next page so that you know that you're getting it from me, and then you just click on the buy now. And here we are where the system is. 30 tea, a tea in the morning, 60 of the pre-meal drink. Drink this 10 minutes before you eat. The tea you can have hot or cold. I like mine cold, but when it gets colder out, I will start drinking it hot. Yeah, you can add things to it. Cinnamon. You can add MCTs to it. Anything that's not going to spike your insulin, and you can work with me on what those are. Ask me, I'll tell you. You can add those to it for flavor, for just to change it up if you want. You can get it in, right now they're suggesting lemon ginger. We must be running low on lemon. Lemon ginger has ginger extract. So unless you love ginger, which I do, mine has lemon ginger in it this morning, I would just get the lemon. There's also the black. Now the black is made to taste and look and feel more like black coffee. Not exact, but more like it for the coffee drinkers who just can't get rid of their coffee. So I would choose the lemon. The pre-meal drink comes in a light orange flavor, tastes like a creamsicle. Then you have a choice between a one-time purchase, which is about $159 a month, or a monthly subscription. The monthly subscription saves you $5, but I want you to look at this. You can cancel it at any time. So save yourself the $5 plus, you're not paying shipping. So now that's about another $10. So you're saving about $15 just to do the monthly subscription. And I tell you, people will call me and be like, I need to change my subscription, whatever. We just get on the phone, or I give them the number to customer service. It's handled. This isn't one of those phantom, I don't remember where to go. You'll get an email when you start, all of it. The company really supports you. So there's that. That's where you're going to get it. When you do order it, I send you out emails. I send you a video that tells you exactly how to take it. We're going to go over that here in a second. And I start coaching you through the whole process. So if you have questions and you need to know what to do, what this should look like for you, you're going to get all those answers. You guys, also on my link page back there, there's a link to this free ebook, My 6 Simple Steps. Please go download it. And this is some of the stuff you're going to do whether you're on the system or not, okay? So you want to do what I just said earlier. Fiber first, prioritize protein, fill with fats, control your carbs or limit them, watch the clock, do some time-based eating, and move your body. The ebook explains all of those. It gives you sources of protein and fats that you should be paying attention to. So download the ebook and start there until your system comes in, and then I will be sending you texts. Please respond to the text. Please know I'm not here to badger you. I'm here to help you. And please feel like you can text me anytime you need to ask a question, when you're on the system. You are never, ever, 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 ever a bother to me. I love when I get texts from people. I love when I can help people out. So please utilize that. All right. But you're going to do those 6 things. It's going to help you with your obesity, your insulin control, your high cholesterol, your hypertension, and yes. You can still have coffee, but most people choose high Chizoba. Most people start to come off of their coffee. My daughter was a huge like Dutch Bros drinker, and she rarely drinks that at all anymore. She just has the tea. And once she understands how much this is doing good for her, um, but there's nothing that says you can't have coffee in the transition. If you want to do coffee for the rest of your life, you can do that. Just know that a lot of those coffees have pesticides and toxins and molds in them that are probably causing problems in your body. But again, it's your choice. You don't have to cut it out. Bottom line, you don't have to cut it out. All right. So the tea, we're going to go over that right now. This is the system, right? A tea in the morning, a pre-meal drink before you eat, and some time-based eating. So that's a timeline of the fasting, and we'll come back to that. If anybody wants to know why we're doing a 16/8 fast, so this is what your day is going to look like. You wake up in the morning, you have the tea. The tea does not break your fast. You wait until you've been 16 hours since your last meal, and then you have your pre-meal drink, and then 10 minutes later have your dinner. You wait, or your lunch, you wait, have another one here. Now, if in the afternoon you're feeling like your energy is low or you're having hunger, you can have another tea. Remember, both of these are just real food products. There's nothing that says you can't have more than that in a day. I've had, I think, like 5 of these teas in a day when I was sitting in on, because my ADD, you guys, if you sit me down, I'll fall asleep, right? If I don't have 1,000 things going on, I'll fall asleep. So I've had like 5 of these in a day when I was in seminars learning. I've had like 5 or 6 of these a day when I was out with friends and we were, doing the friendship things that people do. Oh, Patricia, can I show you after I'm done talking about the tea, I'm going to show you a couple of people, a woman who's lost over 120 and a guy who's lost over 150 on this system. Both of them were told to do those drugs and they both opted out, instead did this, and their doctors are like, I don't know how you did it. This is better than if I had put you on those medications. Okay. Yes, I will show the prior slide. The one about the fasting. Do you guys want to go over the fasting now before I jump into the tea and the let's do it. Let's just do it. So this is what's happening, you guys. When I'm talking about a 16-hour fast, this is why the 16-hour fast is so important. When you have your dinner, we proceed ours with balance. Remember, it's that prophylactic for the sugars. About 2 hours after you eat is when your fasting window actually starts. So about 4 hours after that before your blood sugar normalizes. So it can be 4 to 6 hours after you eat before your blood sugars normalize. Then it takes another couple hours for your insulin to go, oh, this person's not putting more sugar in my body. I can go to bed now too. I don't have to do my job anymore. And insulin drops. Okay. But then the component hormone, so insulin likes things to grow, glucagon likes to eat things up. Glucagon has to be out for you to burn fat and to get rid of some of these junk cells and inflammation. Now, when glucagon is bullied by insulin, it can never come out and do its job because insulin won't let it. When insulin goes to sleep, glucagon can come out and do its job. So about 2 hours after insulin drops, then glucagon's going to be like, is it safe now? I could come out now. I can do my job now because insulin's not going to be chasing me off anymore. So glucagon comes out. Now about 2 hours after that, your digestive system starts to reset. Your gut starts to go, oh, okay, I'm not inundated with sugar and food, and it starts to reset, and it can start to think about reproducing more gut cells and better bacteria in your gut. And then you're going to wake up in the morning and you have the tea, which does not disrupt the gut or does not spike your insulin, but gives you energy and helps you during this stage push out more ketones, the little messengers that are telling you to burn fat for fuel. So now you're burning more fat for fuel. Now you have energy because you're using the energy that's stored. Fat is just stored energy. So Patricia, what time do you have your dinner? So then your body is ramping up fat burning, and you're feeling fine. Like I ate last night about 6, so I'm heading into my 16 hours of fasting now, and I'm not even hungry. I probably won't eat for a couple of more hours because I'm drinking this tea, which I love, by the way. I take it with me everywhere. But you guys, can you imagine that instead of having to worry about this in baggies and whatever, you can put this in your system and know that it's doing what it's supposed to. Take it on the airplane with you, take it wherever you go. This is it. When I leave the house, those go in my purse. That's it. 4 to 5 p.m. So let's count that out. So 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is 12 hours of fasting, right? So then at 8 a.m., your 16-hour fast is done. So 10 a.m., you're actually, because of that 2-hour buffer, you're actually at a perfect time. So you're already doing a 16-hour fast. What this will do for you is help your body during that fasting time to kick up the ketones, to burn the fat for fuel. Plus, if you drink this in the morning when you get up at 3:45, you're going to find you have more mental energy and clarity. You have more physical energy without jitters, without crashes, all of that. And then when you do get to eat at 10, if you just drink this 10 minutes before, you're going to notice that you're a little bit fuller. And pretty soon you're going to start not craving those high carb, high sugar foods anyway. Okay. So I do want to cover this. For some people who are really busy, if you're having, like, my grandson comes over on the weekends and sometimes he wants pancakes and stuff, and so I will have pancakes with him. I will just have an extra balance, and then I'll go about the rest of my day. I'll still do a 12-hour fast, but if I have an extra meal, anytime I put food in my face, I have a balance first. Anytime. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the tea and the balance, then we'll come back to questions in a second. And I want to show you the pictures of the people who have lost the weight that you're looking to lose and done it in a healthy way. Okay, so the tea, one of the great things with the tea is it's 375 times more potent than any standard bagged yerba mate tea, but it's hand-picked, so it's not machine harvested, meaning you're getting the right leaves at the right time. You guys know that. You don't want the leaves that are too green. You don't want the leaves that are too ripe. That's what goes into those bagged teas, so you never know what you're getting. We're getting the right leaves at the right time. Then we're fire roasting it to help release these components from the bulk of the tea so that we can get it extracted, concentrated, and put in this little packet for you, giving you 375 times more of the components than in a regular tea. But the last step is we take it through this hyper purification process that removes pesticides, toxins, all of that. So now you have an extract that's highly concentrated and extremely pure, 375 times more potent than any tea you're going to find out there. Plus, you're not steeping 375 bags of tea to get these benefits. One tea in a glass of water, and that's it. One tea in a glass of water, hot or cold. It helps you feel great all day. You can have it anytime. I drink mine in the evening. Yeah. So I can type it in over here on Facebook. I can't do it on if you're in the US, you can just text me here. There's a contact on my Linktree page as well. Any of you guys who want to contact me after this live, please feel free to do that. In fact, this whole day today is for my day is either creating content or contacting customers or people who need help. So perfect day to contact me. Yeah, and I will try and explain everything as much as I can. Okay, so the tea, it's giving you this mental and physical performance. By the way, it can improve physical endurance, stamina, and performance by 10 to 13%. It's amazing. When I was an athlete, and yes, I was a world champion athlete, I would have just given anything to know about this product. So is it okay to have coffee before the tea? I would drink the tea first and see how you feel. If it's just the taste of the coffee, then I get that. But if it's that effect of I have energy, try the tea first and see how you feel with that, and then have your coffee later. But I really want you to understand the difference that the tea makes and how that feels. So if you would, do a week of where you have the tea first and then have your coffee. I know that's going to seem really odd for some people, but try it. I mean, there's nothing that says you have to, but I would try it. Okay, this also is promoting healthy digestion. And like I said, it's high quality and free from toxins and pesticides. Then, now, the components in the tea, that's why I love this tea so much, are these. It has chlorogenic acids in it, chlorogenic acids. Some of these are just big words. One thing I want you to know is these 3 or 4 things that I'm going to talk about, they're called adaptogens. The tea has some naturally occurring caffeine in it. We don't add any to it, naturally occurring caffeine, okay? So the adaptogens attach to the caffeine molecule and change how the caffeine reacts in your body. That's why no crashes. That's why no jitters, because these are mediating those caffeine effects without taking away the energy it gives you. Chlorogenic acids give you neuroprotective gene expression. They're helping the neurons in your brain and the neural pathways in your brain. And it also has antioxidant effects in the brain. Chlorogenic acids are some of the only components that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain and create that wellness we need in the brain. The brain is very protective. Doesn't let anything in, but it lets chlorogenic acids in. So what that means is it's going to promote feelings of well-being. It's going to support healthy blood pressure. So guys, I was scared because my blood pressure was like 180 over 150 at some point during every day. And I was like, why am I taking something that's giving more energy? My heart's already at risk. Within 6 days, 6 days on the system, my blood pressure had started to drop. In the doctor's office, we got it read at 126 over 84. Yes, it's healthy for your heart. We have a cardiologist who recommends the system to every single patient that comes in his office. Plus, it promotes weight loss. That's just the tea, okay? There's 375 times of this than in any standard bagged tea, okay? Then there's the theobromine. It's the best known as the mood-boosting molecule. It helps support healthy blood pressure, cholesterol levels, promotes a feeling of calmness, reduce mental fatigue, and improves your focus. So if you're doing tests or if you have meetings, great time to drink the tea, especially if you're doing tests. You want to be on, you want to be focused, you want to access all of that memory, drink the tea beforehand or during if they let you. Okay, then it has mate saponins, the third one of these adaptogens. They're a class of molecules that are specific to the yerba mate plant, and they help support healthy triglycerides and the body's ability to burn fat. So remember, drink this in the morning, you're kicking up your ability to burn fat. But it also has triterpenoid saponins. So you guys have all heard about the reishi teas and stuff. Triterpenoids are the main component in there that they're all raving about with the reishi teas. Guess what? There's triterpenoid saponins in Unimate. They have human health benefits, including low serum cholesterol, antioxidant, and anti-cancer activity in this tea. That's just our tea that I'm drinking this morning. And there's science behind all of this, you guys. There's science studies behind all of it. It's not just like some company claiming, oh, curcumin is good for you, take curcumin. Now, the pre-meal drink has 4 different proprietary blends in it. So yes, it's called Biosphere Fiber. Yes, it's called Unicity 7X because it's not just one type of fiber. It's a blend that our scientists have spent 20 years on developing that will actually reduce your blood sugars as much as they could get it to reduce your blood sugars, reducing the insulin spike. So now what's in that? This is helping you from these glucose spikes. So this is what happens. You get this glucose spike. Insulin drops that glucose really quickly. When you're insulin resistant, you may have a glucose crash. We'll go over that later. But this is what it looks like when you're not having fiber and specific fibers in before you eat. You're constantly pumping up your blood sugar. It's dropping. Your body's feeling like it's being slammed all over, and your insulin gets pumped up and it stays high. When you add this pre-meal drink and these fibers, it starts to slow down those blood sugar spikes. Insulin never has to go as high, so it's coming down quicker. So now instead of waiting 8 to 10 hours for your insulin to come down, you can rely on it coming down much, much quicker. So the number one, not the number one, but the first blend in there is this Biosphere Fiber. It's a unique blend that has 5 different sources of fiber, and they help support healthy cholesterol levels, and they help support the conversion of high glycemic carbohydrates into medium glycemic carbohydrates. reducing the glycemic scale of the carbohydrates you eat. If you look at the list of ingredients there, 3 of those, if you Google what are the best fibers to reduce blood sugar, 3 of those you're going to find on that list when you Google it. Amazing, right? They're not found in this. Okay. So then there's the 7X technology, which is a specialized blend of plant-derived polysaccharides or viscous fibers. They form a thick gel when mixed with water, and as they move through the digestive tract, it's slowing down how quickly that sugar hits. Remember, so we have a lower, slower delivery of sugar. And it helps you feel full before you eat. It helps you feel full much longer after you eat. So you're holding on to the food and you don't have the breakthrough hunger because your body is having time release of that energy that you just put in. And then there's the cardio matrix, which is furthering the help with the heart health, because heart health is huge with insulin resistance. You're at risk. Then our scientists said, well, there's a bunch of vitamins and minerals that can help with metabolism as well. So we're going to figure that out. We're going to add to that to this system. So is it just fiber? No, it's a very specific blend aimed at addressing insulin resistance and reducing your blood sugars. That's the 2 products. You get it in my profile. And again, when you do use my profile to purchase it, you're going to get a hold of me. You're going to get to have conversation with me. I've had people for the first several months who contacted me nearly every day, and that's fine. Okay. I want you guys to get healthy. So there's that. And then I don't talk about this one as much, but it's 11. I've been on 1 hour and 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay. It's crazy. So the other thing is it does cost about $5 a day, but if you start this and you are like, wow, this is really great, and your friends start asking you and you want to help them out, you refer them, you start saving $10 for every person every time they purchase. So there's that as well. You can save yourself some money by just doing that. And then if you want, and I'm hoping to do it later today, but I want to come on and talk about the business part a little bit, because there is that opportunity. Look, 2.5 years ago, my finances were jacked because I was so sick. Okay. And I was not only dying in my health, my finances really sucked. And I started the system. I fell in love with it. It was the first time I really could believe in something. And I started this, and now my whole life looks different. And I've been helping other people achieve the same thing. So if you're interested in that part too, ask me. I'm not going to ever pressure anyone, but ask me, because I'm all about helping your entire life, not just your health. With that, I need to hop on the phone and start calling some people. I appreciate you guys all for hanging out with me today, and ask me questions. Use my number. You can find it on the Linktree page, and I appreciate you all. I will see you Monday morning at 8 o'clock. All right? Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for hanging out.